Hi, this is Ikenke from Blue Steel Auto School. We get questions about the best way to reverse, right? So I'm gonna address that today. A lot of people, for some reason, are resistant to reverse the proper way, right? No matter what technology your car has, and I'm not saying not to get the technology. The technology is important. But you can't depend on it completely. Technology is not perfect. Technology can break down when you need it the most. So you want to depend as much on yourself as possible and just have the technology as backup, as assistance, right? Not to replace just common driving sense, right? So when you're reversing, most of your attention should be through the rear windshield. So you are allowed, and I am a motorcycle instructor, so I do have some motorcycle equipment. You see my helmet peeking out there, and my protective jacket. I don't ride a motorcycle without my protection. I'm not crazy, especially as an instructor. Right? I'm a safety instructor, so I have to lead by example. So I have my motorcycle jacket, my motorcycle helmet in the back of the car. Right? When you're reversing, you are allowed, and it's actually preferred, for you to put your arm around the passenger seat and turn your head, right? You're supposed to turn your head and look, and even shift your behind a little bit and look, so you can see directly behind you, directly through the rear windshield. That's how you're supposed to reverse, right? Every once in a while, you're supposed to peek in the mirrors. You can peek in the rear view mirror, the side view mirror. If you have a backup camera, you can peek in the backup camera. But again, you cannot depend on these things. It's got to be like split second, check, look back, check, look back, check, look back. The common thread being look back, right? Look back when you're reversing, right? Very important, because the camera can't see everything. The mirrors can't see everything. They have more blind spots. But if you turn around properly, you have like a widescreen view of what's going on behind you. Now, of course, in some vehicles, just because of the design, if you look through the rear windshield, you can't see like below the window. Right? That's where the camera comes in, so it helps you to, see what might be directly behind you, like underneath the window. But then once you check that and you see that that's clear, you should turn your head and look behind you, and don't continue to reverse staring at the camera, right? And on the test, you can't use the camera anyway, right? At least some people are becoming a little more lenient with it. Maybe their bosses don't know, so maybe I shouldn't say that. But some examiners don't make a big deal out of using the camera, because most cars have cameras these days. And I understand the reason behind it is because there's a lot of cars that don't have cameras, right? So they want you to be able to drive your grandfather's car. If you have to get into somebody's car and it doesn't have a camera, what does that mean? You can't drive it, right? So you have to be able to drive a car that does not have a camera. But the reality is that, probably almost 10 years now, most cars have had cameras. So it's probably time for them to start allowing you to use it on the test. But at the moment, still the majority of them don't allow you to use it. Right? So on the test, you can't use the camera. You don't know which examiner is getting in your car, so just assume they're not going to let you use it. Right? But in real life now, after the test, this is one of the few exceptions. You've heard me in other videos say, there are some exceptions to how you drive on the road test. For the most part, the way you drive on the road test should be how you always drive. There are just a couple of exceptions. Right? One of them is you can make more use of the camera. Still, you don't want to depend on it, but make more use of the camera. And another one is you could probably drive just a little bit faster, still not too fast. Pay attention to the speed limits. They give you a little bit of cushion after the fact. On the test, there's no cushion. Right? Those are like two exceptions from real life driving versus road test driving. Just about everything else is pretty much the same, right? Or should be the same. Don't develop bad habits. Alright, so we're just going to demonstrate, and I again request that you send notifications, post your comments and questions. That's how we know what topics interest you. Subscribe, and we'll keep this going, give you what you want. Alright, so I'm gonna demonstrate how I reverse, right? And you notice the main thing I'm doing is looking behind. Okay, so that's what you should be seeing, is your rear windshield, just like that, as you've heard me saying in other videos. Top, bottom, both sides, right? So that's what you should see when you look in your rear view mirror. However, again, the rear view mirror doesn't give you the peripheral vision. The backup camera doesn't give you the peripheral vision. Right? So when you're backing up, you want to actually reverse by looking directly behind you. So I'm going to turn my head and I'm going to look behind me. And I'm going to just release the brake nice and easy. You don't have to go fast. And you try to keep the wheel straight for the most part, right? I'm doing quick looks, mirror, mirror. Sometimes it's best to stop and release, right? And you can check out the windows, see if I'm getting close to this car over here, and I just keep checking, right? And I'm going slow. You don't have to go fast. And just remember, if you want the back of the car, the back is leading now. So if I want the back of the car to go left, I'm going to turn the wheel left, right? It's the back leading, so I'm turning left now, and the back is starting to go left. But now I want the car to come back to the right, so I'm going to turn the wheel to the right, right? And then I'm checking to see if I'm getting too close to this red car coming up, and then I want the car to go straight, so I have to point the car straight, look down the road, and then once the car is straight, you center the wheel to keep it straight. If you keep the wheel turned, then the car is going to keep turning. And I'm just looking, right? And I'm doing quick checks. I have a backup camera in this car, but quick checks, and I'm looking, right? And sometimes the best thing to do if you want to check is stop. You could stop, you could look around longer, make sure everything is clear, and then keep going. If I feel like I'm getting too far, I just want to stay close to the parked cars, but not too close. So the parked cars are on my right, so I'm going to turn the wheel to the right. And then I don't want to get too close, so now I got to turn the wheel back to the left to get straight, and then center the wheel to stay straight. And I just keep looking behind me mostly. Alright? And that's it. That's how you reverse. Right? So again, please feel free to let us know of any questions or comments, like, request notifications, and subscribe. And this is Ikenke signing off from Blue Steel Auto School, and happy holidays to everybody. Yesterday was Christmas, New Year's is coming up. Take care.